Hello everyone, my name is Morgan, and today I'm going to tell you about what I consider to be the most underrated otome out there. Now, I've played a lot of otomes over the years, and I pretty much consider all of them to be underrated, but that's just because of the genre. Otomes are a pretty niche type of game because of the whole dating hot anime boys thing. Mystic Messenger is about the only otome that really made it into the mainstream, and it's a shame because a lot of otomes have the most interesting stories and characters I've ever come across. And that includes the game we're talking about today, Café Enchanté. Like I said, otomes in general are what I would call underrated, but most of them still have their own fan bases. Café Enchanté, though, seems to have really flown under the radar for most people, as the fandom is practically non-existent. And I think I know why. You see, Café Enchanté came out only a month after the very popular Pio Fiore Faded Memories. And let's be honest, Switch games aren't cheap, so people had to choose between the edgy mafia otome or the cute cafe otome. And I think we all know people tend to gravitate towards the more edgy and dark games, making Pio Fiore very popular while Café Enchanté, the seemingly fluffy, cute game, was forgotten. But Café Enchanté is so much more than a cutesy game about a cafe. The plot is much more deep and dark than you'd expect, and it quickly became my second favorite otome I've ever played. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a cup of coffee, and let me tell you about why you should play Café Enchanté. Without spoiling anything, of course. Now, the basic plot of the game is about a young girl named Kotone Awaki inheriting her grandfather's Café Enchanté, after he passes away. After arriving at the cafe, she realizes that the customers are non-humans, like a demon king, a fallen angel, and this guy. Yeah, that's right, this guy has no head. Have you ever played an otome where one of the love interests doesn't have a head? Because I don't think so. So anyway, Kotone eventually decides to quit her awful job and run this cafe for non-humans. Sounds like a cute, simple premise, right? Well, what if I told you that the routes in this game contain cannibalism, sacrificial brides, the most unethical science you've ever seen, an evil god, and what I can only describe as super hell? The first sign that this game is not an adorable cafe simulator is when Kotone has this nightmare early on in the common route. Creepy. As the common route goes on, more not-so-cute things happen, including, but not limited to, the death of an entire species, a creepy voice that possesses you, a dying middle schooler, and that. Now, the common route is pretty long, which was actually one of my complaints about Code Realize, but after finishing this game, I think the common route is perfect the way it is. Everything that happens in it is 100% necessary for understanding the story and the characters, and I wouldn't take a single thing out. Speaking of the characters, let's talk about them and their routes.
Ignis Caribum Curus. Jukai Bestiano Maju.
Now that is a wacky last name. Ignis is a beast, more specifically a firewolf from the world of Bestia. Bestia is a kill or be killed world covered in ice and snow. I despise the cold and snow, so I would literally hate it here. Ignis is a tsundere, but nowhere near as rude as your typical tsundere. He loves food, specifically meat, and often devours Kotone's entire meat supply. He's good at sports and is always ready for a fight, especially if he's fighting to protect the people he cares about. Ignis was my first route, and I think he's a great character to start with. His route starts off like a typical romance before devolving into major angst and super dark themes. His route shows you exactly what kind of game you're actually playing, and the other routes will be no different.
我の名はカヌス。カヌスエスパーだ。妖精界メディオの騎士だ。ソーアン殿には大変世話になった。
Believe it or not, this guy's a fairy. Yeah, I know. I think Canis as a character was such a risk considering he has no head. And while he is my least favorite of the love interests, I do like him a lot more than I thought I would. Canis is from the fairy world Medio. Here, he's known as the Fairy of Death and is feared by all the other fairies. But at the cafe, he's a sweet gentleman who loves gardening and helping others. His route focuses on how the seemingly perfect and beautiful world of Medio is much darker than what meets the eye. While I could never quite get past the no head thing in his route, I wouldn't change anything about him. Eventually, I was actually able to tell how he was feeling most of the time, despite having no face. Though I have yet to really figure out what it means when he lights up green.
僕はリンドを香る。言っておくけど、正真正銘のごく普通の人間だよ。
Now, Rindo is the only human love interest in this game, and I thought that him just being a normal human combined with the fact that he's 20 years older than Kotone would make me not really care for him, but I was so wrong. I really like Rindo. His route was my second favorite, and I realized that the age thing didn't really matter when 3 out of the 4 non-humans are thousands of years old. Now, Rindo works for the GPM, which is an organization that deals with non-humans. His job is to monitor the non-humans at Enchant, causing them to distrust him for a while, but As time goes on, they bond and become real friends. Rindo struggles to trust and bond with non-humans because of how different they are. His route deals with this and the dark secrets of the GPM. His route is seriously angsty, like seriously angsty, and I loved every second of it. Not only that, but this route had a plot twist in it that just messed me up so bad. Like, I did not see it coming at all. I remember it being revealed and just sitting back and going, what?
私はいる。イルファドでリエ、天界カエルム出身の天使。ではなく、その法を破り落とされた打天使です。
Il is my favorite character in this game, and he's actually the reason I got it. I adored his design and saw someone compare him to Kageyuki Shiraishi, aka my second favorite character of all time. So I knew I'd love him. It's true, by the way, he's very similar to Shiraishi. Il is a fallen angel from the heavenly world Kalem. He's extremely kind, gentle, and loves sweets. The main thing to note about him though is that, get this, he loves OTOME games.
私にとって重要なのは間違いありません。乙女ゲームは私の心の支えですから。
Seriously, just look at his room. Having an OTOME character that loves OTOME games is just too perfect. As sweet as Il is, he's shrouded in mystery, and no one knows how exactly he became a fallen angel in the first place. Not only that, he lives at the cafe full-time, refusing to return to his own world because if he does, the other angels will try and kill him. Like Ignis's route, Il's route starts off really cute but quickly becomes extremely sad and dark, but on a larger scale this time. I could seriously feel my heart breaking multiple times in his route.
じゃあ最後は俺かな。魔界アスモディアから来たミシェル・アレックス。見ての通りとっても強い魔王様。よろしくね。
Messier is a demon king from the demon world Asmodia, making him insanely powerful. He's also the final route of the game, so his route can only be unlocked after you've done everyone else's. Messier is a laid-back, mischievous jokester who loves coffee. He uses his powers to cheat, as he calls it, and must return to the demon world every night. He and Il have this really cute brotherly relationship, and Messier does everything he can to protect him. But the thing is that everyone knows practically nothing about Messier's past, and let me tell you, when I learned about it in his route, I actually teared up. I felt so bad for him. His route is seriously sad, and all the big mysteries of the game are revealed in his route. And I was hooked from start to finish. I could not stop. The love interests in this game are all so interesting and likable. All of their routes are great, and I don't think there's a single bad one. Not to mention their bond with Kotone and each other are all really strong, so you get a great found family relationship in addition to the romantic relationships. Even the side characters in this game are interesting, from a sweet fairy queen to a crazy scientist that looks like a child. Yet believe it or not, he's actually 29. All the side characters have their own motivations, personalities, and pasts that are unique to them, and make them just as interesting as the main characters. My personal favorite side character is this guy.
案ずるな。名乗るほどのものではない。役職はこれの助手である。アベカリアに関する情報を各種まとめておいた。あとはそちらで話を進めるといい。
Something about the blunt, monotone way he says things while hidden under that weird hood is so funny to me. He also has the same voice actor Sayato Sakamaki, so that could definitely have something to do with it too. Now, most of the non-humans look human, but there are some non-human side characters that are just completely different and kind of look like monsters in a way, but like the cutest monsters you've ever seen. Like, look at this guy. I love him. He's just a little dude. It's obvious to see that the side characters in this game had just as much thought put into them as the main characters, and I love all of them. Except Dromi. Screw Dromi. Café Enchanté is a beautifully written game with so much love put into it, from the characters, to the story, to the fascinating worlds the non-humans are from. It seems like a cute cafe OTOME on the surface, but when you start playing, there's so many deep, dark, sad, happy, and impactful themes that will stick with me forever. And that's what makes this such a standout OTOME to me. I've yet to play Pio Fiore Faded Memories, and I'm sure it's a great game. I mean, it's popular for a reason. But I'm so glad that I picked the cute cafe OTOME over the edgy Mafia game, because it blew my expectations out of the water. And I really, really hope that you will give Café Enchanté a try too.